The 1960s was an iconic time for the American car industry. It was the birthing of American muscle, which are some of the greatest machines ever to take to the streets.
It's American muscle.
These cars make you proud to be an American, and if you're not American, they make you wish you were one.
I'm a true American.
Today, we are covering the top 10 muscle cars from the 1960s that will make you want to start your own collection of classic American muscle. Plus, stick around till the end, because we'll be revealing a secret contender, a muscle car that some might have forgotten, but deserves a place in any conversation. Number 10, 1967 Ford Mustang S-Code GT350 Fastback. While not as flamboyant as the Shelby Mustangs, the 1967 Ford Mustang S-Code GT350 Fastback offered a compelling blend of power and handling in a more subtle package. Designed by a team under Lee Iacocca, the S-Code prioritized performance over outward appearances, although the outward appearances were pretty stunning. Its heart was a robust 390 cubic inch V8, producing around 320 horsepower, making it a force to be reckoned with. The hood featured functional air vents to help manage engine temperatures, while a revised suspension sharpened handling for a more responsive driving experience. The base price of a 1967 Ford Mustang was around $2,461, which is roughly $22,500 today. Adding the S-Code option on top of that brought the total price to approximately $3,011, which is roughly $28,000 today. Production numbers were relatively low, with only about 1,700 units ever built. In 2021, a well-preserved S-Code Mustang fetched over $60,000 at a Barrett-Jackson auction from Houston.
I bet that old Mustang is pulling into New York right now.
I'm sure you're right.
Number 9, 1964 Pontiac GTO. Originally conceived as an option for the Pontiac Tempest, the GTO carved its own path and quickly became a legend. John DeLorean, a young and ambitious engineer, is credited with championing the GTO despite initial resistance within Pontiac. The GTO's potent engine, a tire-smoking 389 cubic inch V8 with 325 horsepower, was paired with a 4-speed manual transmission, making it a thrilling performer. Its muscular lines, accentuated by dual hood scoops and dual exhausts, left no doubt about its capabilities. Pontiac's GTO wasn't initially built for racing, but rather it was a marketing ploy. However, the GTO was later homologated for FIA, allowing Herb Adams' GTO to compete in SCCA Trans Am. The original GTO sold for around $3,200, which is roughly $32,000 today, adjusted for inflation. Today, a pristine GTO can command a pretty high price tag. Take the 2022 Barrett-Jackson Scottsdale auction, where a stunning 1964 black-on-black GTO with a tri-power engine sold for $150,700.
That Pontiac you have out there, Frank, is a real classic.
Number 8, 1968 Plymouth Roadrunner 426 Hemi. Inspired by the Warner Brothers cartoon character, the Roadrunner offered tire-shredding performance at a surprising price. Stuffed under the hood was the legendary 426 cubic inch Hemi V8 engine, pumping out a monstrous 425 horsepower. Developed by Plymouth's engineering team, it prioritized affordability and performance over luxury features, offering a stripped-down interior and focusing on raw power. In 1968, a Roadrunner 426 Hemi could be purchased for around $4,100, which would be equivalent to around $38,000 today. With only around 1,100 built, they are pretty sought-after cars. Recently in 2023, one was sold for $110,000 at a Barrett-Jackson auction from Las Vegas.
Do you have any idea how fast you were going?
Well, I got a 426 Hemi in her.
Number 7, 1969 Dodge Charger RT 426 Hemi. The 1969 Dodge Charger RT 426 Hemi isn't just a car, it's a pop culture legend. This iconic muscle car boasts a legendary 426 cubic inch Hemi V8 engine under the hood, packing a whopping 425 horsepower. Hidden headlights, a muscular Coke bottle body style, and an optional rear spoiler contribute to its aggressive presence. The 1969 Charger RT's popularity soared after starring in the TV show Dukes of Hazzard. Although none of the cars in the show had the Hemi engine. While the base price of an RT was around $3,575, the Hemi option added a significant $715 to the price tag. In 2024, a pristine 1970 Charger RT 426 Hemi was sold for over $130,000 at a Barrett-Jackson auction in Scottsdale.
Well, I guess we only got one choice.
Go for it.
Number 6, 1969 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 396. The 1969 Chevelle SS 396 wasn't the rarest muscle car, but it remains one of the most beloved. A collaborative effort by a Chevrolet design team, it struck a perfect balance, a thrilling performance that could be enjoyed every day. The design embodied the classic muscle car look, a wide stance, a power bulge on the hood, and optional racing stripes that added a touch of flair. The Chevelle SS 396 was offered in 4 body styles, which include a coupe, a sedan, a convertible, and a wagon. In 1969, a Chevelle SS 396 could be purchased for around $3,700, which is roughly $34,000 today. In 2016, a 1969 Chevelle SS 396 sold for $46,200 at an RM Sotheby's auction.
What do you think?
Yeah, I can see that.
Do I look like I belong on one of these?
Yeah, actually you do. It's a great car.
Number 5, 1965 Shelby GT350. A brainchild of automotive legend Carroll Shelby, the 1965 Shelby GT350 transformed the Ford Mustang from a sporty cruiser into a force to be reckoned with on the track. Shelby took the Mustang's base design and injected it with serious performance upgrades. This lightweight track-focused machine packed a punch with a 289 cubic inch V8 pushing out 306 horsepower. While staying true to the Mustang's overall design, the Shelby GT350 incorporated functional touches for enhanced performance. These included a lightweight fiberglass hood to save weight, a revised suspension for better handling, and a driver-focused cockpit with racing-style gauges for essential information at a glance. Owning a piece of this racing legacy came at a premium. In 1965, the Shelby GT350 set you back around $4,500, which equates to roughly $42,000 today. With a mere 521 cars produced, they are incredibly rare collectibles. This year in 2024, a pristine 1965 Shelby GT350 was sold for over $500,000 at a Barrett-Jackson auction in Scottsdale, Arizona.
You know, that's rare these days.
I know.
Number 4, 1969 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. The 1969 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am wasn't just about brute force, it was a refined take on the muscle car formula. It aimed to compete with the Camaro by offering a touch of sophistication alongside its muscle car heart. The standard 400 cubic inch V8 engine with around 335 horsepower provided plenty of power, but the optional Ram Air package offered an extra dose of muscle for performance enthusiasts. The design was a head-turner, with a long sculpted hood with a distinctive air intake, a prominent rear spoiler that emphasized its performance capabilities, and iconic Firebird decals that marked its territory. The distinctive Screaming Chicken decal has become one of the Firebird Trans Am's most recognizable features. There are reports that the design was originally considered too aggressive and almost rejected. The 1969 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am started at a price of around $4,000, which adjusted for inflation is around $34,000 today. While not as rare as some on this list, a well-preserved Trans Am in 2015 was sold for $110,000 at a Barrett-Jackson auction in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Nice car, Rock. It's a great car. Hey, here's the paper, right?
Number 3, 1966 Dodge Coronet Street Hemi. The Coronet Street Hemi wasn't about shouting its power from the rooftops, it was a wolf in sheep's clothing. It personified the sleeper car concept. Under its unassuming hood lurked the legendary 426 cubic inch Hemi V8, a monstrous engine capable of churning out 425 horsepower, although some believe it was capable of pushing out 500. The Coronet Street Hemi's true purpose was evident in its appearance. The design deliberately avoided flashy additions like spoilers or racing stripes. This low-key exterior allowed it to blend seamlessly with everyday traffic. The base price for a 1966 Dodge Coronet when it was released was around $2,800, but adding the Hemi engine, the price jumped to around $3,300, which equates to around $30,000 today. In 2017, at an RM Sotheby's auction in Arizona, a 1966 Coronet Hemi 500 convertible sold for $176,000.
Basically looks like a taxi cab. My wife has no idea why I like it. Well, it's all right there, 426 Hemi.
Number 2, 1969 Chevrolet Camaro COPP. The 1969 Chevy Camaro COPP wasn't your average muscle car. Built with drag racing dominance in mind, Chevy engineers prioritized performance with a stripped interior, lightweight build, and different engine options. The crown jewel was the 427 cubic inch V8, exceeding 400 horsepower. Adding to its mystique, COPP, or Central Office Production Order, was a special program where dealers bypassed usual channels to order these high-performance Camaros directly from Chevrolet, making them special order beasts that never saw traditional advertising. In 1969, a COPP with the L72 engine could cost around $5,000, which equates to roughly $43,000 today. With only around 69 ZL1 COPPs built, they are incredibly rare and valuable. In 2020, at a Barrett-Jackson auction, a 1969 ZL1 COPP sold for $1,094,500.
You really know what this is?
I think this looks like a 4-speed 69 Camaro.
This is a real COPP.
No.
Number 1, 1969 Ford Mustang Boss 429. Driven by Ford's desire to dominate NASCAR, they created the 1969 Mustang Boss 429. Led by Ford President Bunky Knudsen and designed by Larry Shinoda, the Boss was created to challenge the Chrysler 426 Hemi in the NASCAR Cup Series. A monstrous 429 cubic inch V8 engine was beneath the hood, detuned for road use, but rumored to be closer to 500 horsepower than the claimed 375. This engine was so big, it wouldn't fit in a standard Mustang, so Ford hired Carcraft in Dearborn, Michigan to make the necessary modifications for it to fit. At $4,700, it was a premium purchase in 1969. That's roughly $40,000 in 2024. And with only 1,358 Mustang Boss 429s built, only 859 were for the 1969 model year. And now for the bonus, the 1969 AMC AMX Red, White, and Blue. Draped in a symbolic red, white, and blue paint scheme, this 1969 AMC AMX makes one proud to be an American. AMC's AMX platform carved a niche for itself in drag racing throughout the late 1960s and 1970s. With estimates suggesting only 50 were ever built, these AMXs are incredibly rare. The base price of a standard 1969 AMC AMX hovered around $3,800, which would equate to just over $32,000 today. In 2023, it was offered for sale by auction site Barn Finds for $115,000. Looking back at these classic American muscle cars really makes one appreciate the design and ingenuity of that era. And if you thought these cars were something to look at, watch this next video.